You are standing in the midst of a stunning sunset. The sun is dipping low, turning the sky into this impossible shade of bruised violet and gold. In an instant, 30 smartphones shoot up into the air, their glowing screens forming cold, bright rectangles that cut through the twilight as everyone scrambles to record the view. Everyone is scrambling, desperate to package the light into a file they can upload later. But then, there's you. You're just standing there, hands in your pockets, watching the colors bleed into the dark with your actual, naked eyes. And when someone asks for your handle, you just smile and say, "Oh, I'm not on social media." The room goes quiet for a heartbeat. People look at you like you've just confessed to a crime, or like you're a ghost haunting a world you no longer inhabit. They call you antisocial. They think you're missing out. But what they don't realize is that you might be protecting something most of us have already surrendered without even knowing it. In 2026, living without a feed isn't just a lifestyle choice, it's a radical act of rebellion. If you are someone who genuinely has zero interest in scrolling through Instagram at 2 a.m., who doesn't feel that burning itch to document your morning coffee, your brain is doing something fascinating. While 4.9 billion people are currently glued to their screens, your nervous system is operating on a completely different frequency. Let's be honest about why everyone else cares so much. Social media was never designed for connection. It was designed to hijack your biology. It taps into the most primitive, survival-driven parts of your brain, the parts that crave social validation like oxygen. Every like, every comment, every share releases a tiny, artificial spike of dopamine. It's the same chemical that makes you crave chocolate, or the rush of winning at a slot machine. The platforms were built by engineers who studied behavioral psychology specifically to make them as addictive as possible. But here is where you get interesting. You aren't immune to dopamine. You've just decided to source it elsewhere. Research shows that the reward systems of people like you are less triggered by external applause and more activated by internal satisfaction. Psychologists call this intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. Most people today need 200 strangers to like their vacation photo, just to feel like the trip was worth taking. But you understand that the experience itself is the prize. You have an internal compass that doesn't need a satellite to find north. And once you realize you can validate yourself, the entire game of modern life changes. There is a darker side to the screen that many people are reluctant to face. It's not just about the connection you're gaining, it's about the peace you're losing. Every time you scroll, your brain is unconsciously measuring your messy, behind-the-scenes life against everyone else's polished highlight reel. And you always lose that comparison. But because you've opted out, you aren't playing a game that was rigged against you from the start. While others are drowning in anxiety and an endless sense of not being enough, you are standing on the shore, breathing. Think about what happens to the human attention span in a digital world. It's being shattered into millions of tiny pieces. We are training our brains to crave a new hit of novelty every 6 seconds. Scroll, hit, scroll, hit. You, however, have preserved something precious: the ability to sit with a single thought for more than 15 seconds. You can read a book without checking your phone every other paragraph. There is actual brain imaging research on this. Heavy social media users show decreased activity in the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for focus, decision-making, and impulse control. By staying off social media, you are training your brain's focus muscles every single day. You aren't just being quiet, you are being powerful. But let's look closer. Sometimes this choice to stay hidden isn't just about strength. For some of you, it might be a form of armor. Maybe you avoid the digital world because, deep down, you're terrified of being seen and judged. That's not intentional solitude, that's fear-based isolation. Your nervous system might have learned a long time ago that being visible was dangerous. Maybe you were criticized as a child, or you felt like you never quite fit the mold, so you built a fortress of privacy to keep yourself safe. In this light, your absence isn't a protest, it's a survival mechanism. Whether it's a choice of power or a choice of protection, you've realized the ultimate truth of the 21st century. Social media isn't social, it's theater. Every post is an audition. Every story is a calculated move in an invisible game of status. You looked at that stage, with its bright lights and fake applause, and you said, "This isn't connection, this is a performance." Real connection doesn't happen through a glass screen. It happens in the three-dimensional silence before someone answers a difficult question. It's in the laugh that's too loud and unfiltered to ever be a story. It's in the moments that are too ordinary to photograph, but somehow they are the only things that feel real. You understand that the best parts of your life are the ones you never share, They are the ones you just live. But let's lean into the mirror for a moment. I want you to close your eyes and go back. Think of a version of you from a long time ago. Maybe you were 7 or 8 years old, standing in a kitchen or a classroom, holding something you were so proud of. A drawing, a thought, a tiny discovery. You looked up, waiting for someone to notice. But the adults were busy, the room was loud. The world felt like it was moving too fast to see you. In that silence, you learned a devastating lesson, that being seen is a gamble. And usually, the house wins. You learned that if you don't broadcast your existence, you might actually be safer. You built a fortress, you pulled up the drawbridge, and decided that if the world wasn't going to anyway, you would stop trying to show them. For some of you, your absence from social media isn't just a choice of digital minimalism. It is a quiet, lingering survival mechanism. It is a way to ensure that you never have to feel that specific childhood sting of being ignored by a crowd ever again. And if that realization makes your chest feel a little tight, I want you to breathe into it, because here is your permission slip. You do not need to fix your desire for privacy. You do not need to force yourself to become a brand or a content creator just to prove you are alive. You aren't broken because you prefer the shadows over the spotlight. It is okay to soften. It is okay to lower the drawbridge just an inch. Not for the 4.9 billion strangers out there, but for the 1 or 2 people who actually know the sound of your real voice. We live in a culture that treats introversion or privacy like a medical condition that needs a cure. They tell you to get out there, to build your network, to share your story. But they never stop to ask if the story is better kept in the heart. You don't have to show up for a world that only rewards the loudest version of you. Your worth is not a metric. Your life is not an asset to be leveraged. Your quietness is not a deficiency, it is your sanctuary. As we move further into 2026, the static is only going to get louder. The algorithms will get smarter, the filters will get more deceptive, and the pressure to perform will become almost unbearable. But you have already escaped the trap. You have reclaimed those 38 days a year. You have kept your memories for yourself, uncorrupted by the need for a caption or a filter. When you look back on your life decades from now, you won't remember the posts you didn't make. You will remember the way the air felt on your skin during that sunset. You will remember the depth of the conversations that happened without a phone on the table. You will remember who you were when nobody was watching. And that version of you, that is the only one that ever mattered. If you are listening to this and you feel a strange sense of relief because you finally found a place where you don't have to perform. I don't make these videos to chase an audience or to feed a machine. I make them for people like us, for the digital ghosts, the deep thinkers, and the ones who still believe that the most meaningful parts of life are the ones that stay unshared. If you found a piece of yourself in these words, I'd invite you to stay, subscribe, and join this quiet corner of the world. Not to boost a number, but to let me know that you're out there, living a real life in the silence. I'm glad you're here. And I'm even gladder that you're out there, just being you. Take a deep breath. Put the device down. Go live the rest of your day without telling anyone about it.